Hey there, I'm Rachel Ballard and you're watching Feast and Farm Cooks, and today we're making meatloaf. Now I know there are so many versions out there on the internet today. You can have your pick of ones that have 5 ingredients, ones that have 20 ingredients, but this recipe is so simple there's no need to do anything extra. So let me walk you through what you're going to need to get this done. We're going to need onions and bell peppers that are chopped. I used red onions here because that's what I had, but you can use anything else, it's fine. I've got some quick oats. That's not whole oats, that's the little further processed version. So some quick oats, salt, pepper, diced tomatoes, and then we'll talk about the topping for the meatloaf in just a minute. So I've got in my bowl about a pound of ground beef. Now you can use, I'm using ground chuck here. You can use ground sirloin if you prefer. Some people have even done this with ground turkey. You would just want to check it about halfway through its bake time and make sure that it's not overcooking and going to dry out on you. But I'm using a ground chuck. That's what I prefer. So this is just dump and mix. So we're going to put in our onions and our bell peppers. I'm going to drop my oats in there. And oh, I forgot. There's an egg over here. We'll get there. Salt. You have to have quite a bit of salt, so don't panic when you see me dump that in there. Salt is your friend in food. If you're not a salter, pepper, if you don't salt your food, you know, you really miss out on the enhancement of the flavor. And I know there are certain people who have dietary restrictions and can't, but if you can and you're simply not seasoning your food, let's work on that. So we're also going to add some diced tomatoes with the juice, and leave that and put my egg in. That's it. Simple. You don't have to fuss with a ton of ingredients. And one thing my husband complains about is he doesn't like a greasy meatloaf, and I don't know anybody who does. So this version has always been really, really nice. And it's not greasy. Sometimes what I'll do if I find that my meat for some reason is a little bit greasy while it's cooking, I will drain it. I'll take it out of the oven about 20 minutes into its cook time, and I'll just kind of hold it with a spatula and just tip the pan and take out some of the grease. And I'll do that a couple of times in order to get out anything extra that's in there. Now, me and this fork are not working. I was trying not to use my hands, but I'm gonna have to. You don't want to overwork meatloaf. That's always the thing about it. You don't want to compact it, because if you do, you end up with this really dense, you know, hard to cut kind of loaf. And so you want it to be nice and light. And that's good. So what I'm going to do is trade out for this pan. And I'm just going to shape this into a loaf right here. And sometimes what I'll do with this, if it's too much, this feeds this pound of ground beef with all, I'm thinking 6 or 8 people probably easily, at least in our house. If it's too big for you, just use half of it and freeze the other half. I'll drop sometimes half of this just like it is into a freezer bag, and it's ready for me to thaw out and use whenever I have a busy night, which is a lot of the time. So, okay. So I'm just kind of forming this into a loaf. Okay. There. Now, for the topping, and I'm just going to go ahead and touch this, and I'll wash it in a second. In this container, I have brown sugar, ketchup, and mustard. And you think, well, that's weird. Let me stir it up in my bumpy cup here. But the 3 of these, it's more than just ketchup. A lot of people just dump some ketchup on the top and put it in the oven. This is just, the brown sugar adds a nice depth to it. Mustard does something really nice in here, and it's just a nice, not overly sweet, just a little extra topping on there. So this is going to go in the oven for an hour at about 400, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, the meatloaf was in the oven for just right at an hour, and it's piping hot, and we're going to try to get a piece off of here. So I'm going to take mine from down here at the end, and it's just so delicate. That's the word for it. It's so delicate. So if you enjoy a super hard, tough one, this is probably not the place to get it, but this is so soft. So it's got the tomatoes in there and the bell peppers, and it's hot. My poor tongue. It's fabulous. Ketchup gives just a little bit of sweetness. The peppers have held their texture. It's good. It's going to be a really nice addition to your dinner table too. So I will drop a link below this video so that you can check out the recipe over on the Feast and Farm website. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. I will drop a link to this below the video so that you can get a link.